1/3 of the food produced in the world is wasted. And this isn't even including edible byproducts. Food is wasted at every step of its life cycle, from farms, processing, distribution, and of course, in your homes. Americans waste roughly 40% of their food. Because of all this waste, food has become the single biggest component of municipal waste. With so little social awareness surrounding this topic, it's more vital than ever that you should not only educate yourself, but get serious about changing this problem. With the research I've conducted, I'm going to tell you about the two biggest areas of food waste affecting you, their global and environmental impacts, and of course, give you some simple solutions to this problem. So let's talk about food waste in your household. There are 5 major ways, as outlined by the Grace Communication Foundation's 2017 Food Waste Awareness Series, that food is wasted in your homes. The first is through food spoilage. 2/3 of the food wasted at your home is due to food not being eaten before it goes bad. Then there's over-preparing. It's as simple as people are cooking more food than they actually consume, where it's then either thrown away or put in the fridge as leftovers that are eventually rotting and thrown away. Next is data label confusion. ReFed, a website outlining the food waste issues, explains how 90% of Americans prematurely discard food due to misreading date labels, such as best if used by or sell by. Then there's overbuying. Grocery stores have sales and promotions that encourage impulse buying, which means that people are buying food that isn't actually incorporated into their daily routines, so it therefore is left in their fridges to go bad and is thrown away. Lastly, there's poor planning. Showing up to the grocery store with no list encourages overbuying, since you don't actually know what you need and you just end up picking about anything and everything off the shelf. This food, again, isn't incorporated into your daily routine, goes bad, and is then wasted. Next, there's food waste in restaurants. M. Erickson, in his 2017 article, The Tree Structure, a general framework for food waste qualification in food services, brings up the astonishing fact that approximately 4 to 10% of food purchased by restaurants is wasted before even reaching the consumer. There are 2 major contributors to food waste in restaurants. The first is oversized portions. Restaurants pile high their plates with food that the consumer can't finish. This food is either thrown away by the restaurant or taken home as leftovers, which again are left in the fridge, forgotten about, go bad, and are thrown away. Next, there's extensive menu choices. Restaurants like the infamous Cheesecake Factory have magazine-like menus that, since their options are so varied, the restaurant has to buy copious amounts of food, which is then not eaten and thrown away. The biggest contributor of restaurant food waste is all-you-can-eat buffets. All-you-can-eat buffets are particularly wasteful because instead of allowing their food trays to be emptied out by people eating it before they bring out new food, they prefer food to be looking fresh, so they're constantly changing out the trays, therefore creating copious amounts of waste. So what are the global and environmental impacts of all this food waste that we're creating? Kay Hall's article, The Progressive Increase of Food Waste and Its Environmental Impacts, explains how nearly 1.3 billion tons of food is wasted annually. This is having far-reaching global impacts. Food waste is the #1 contributor to world hunger. The World Food Programme's 2016 article, 8 Facts to Know About Food Waste and Hunger, states that the world produces enough food to not only feed, but nourish every man, woman, and child. But we're just wasting it. This also wastes copious amounts of water. Approximately 34 gallons per pound of broccoli and 1,800 gallons per pound of beef. Lastly, all this food ends up in landfills where it's rotting. Rotting food creates a ton of the harmful greenhouse gas methane, which is contributing to global warming. So, it's no secret that food is being wasted. But what can you do? Luckily, there are simple solutions. The first is you could buy sustainably. You could buy imperfect produce. Imperfect produce is produce that was deemed not perfect enough to sit on grocery store shelves. What this means is that it wasn't the right color, size, or shape, and therefore this perfectly good produce is thrown away. But what you can do to help this problem is go through co-ops or buy through Imperfect Produce grocery stores, and luckily for you, this is actually cheaper. If that seems a little bit too complicated, luckily there's companies like Barnana who take imperfect bananas and turn them into a yummy chocolate snack. Next, there's companies like Regrained. They take the copious amount of spent grain produced by the popular microbrewery industry and turn it into a fiber-filled, protein-filled bar. So even if you don't want to change your buying habits, luckily there are simple solutions that you can implement into your daily lives. The first, as outlined by C. Godfrey's 2011 article, Food Security, the Challenge of Feeding 9 Billion, recommends placing your food at eye level and in the front of your refrigerator so that you're more likely to eat it before it goes bad. P. Lipinski's 2013 article, Reducing Food Loss and Waste, explains how planning out your grocery trips by writing out a list will significantly reduce your amount of food waste since you won't be overbuying. All of these small changes can save you up to $2,500 annually, as outlined by Wansky's 2013 article, Portion Size Me, Plate Size Induced Consumption. As a now educated consumer, you can no longer play the ignorance card. You're aware of the environmental and social impacts of food waste. Luckily, the solution is straightforward and easily incorporated into your day-to-day lives. By taking the small steps I've outlined for you, you can greatly impact the world, save water, and of course, save yourselves a little money.